Winds of New England, WNDS Dairy. WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. He got it. Spread eagle for a spin.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Rockingham Toyota, Dodge, Nissan.
Looks good. Looks good. That's the goal. It's the goal.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. Once again, thanks for making us a part of your Sunday here on the Winds. I'm Doug Brown, along with Dan Murphy for Stars and Strikes, and this is week 2 with Dennis Shute looking for his second win in a row.
Oh, he had a big win last week. Once he got rolling, he was almost untouchable there, and he got a little scared toward the end, but out of the coals and into the fire. Peter Flynn this week.
All right, let's meet our two bowlers. We talked about this a little bit last week with Peter Flynn coming in, but let's meet our defending champion first, our number 5 seed from Amesbury, Massachusetts, Dennis Shute.
Okay, Dennis comes in averaging 124. High 3 is 448. Roll-off score 677.
And, of course, last week, Dennis really went without a mark the first 5 boxes and then jammed all of his marks into about a 20-frame span in the middle of the match, and it was enough for that 403 to get the win. And he advances now against our number 3 seed from Bradford, Massachusetts, Peter Flynn.
Okay, Peter comes in averaging 125. High single 211. His roll-off score 5 pins better than Dennis at 682.
All right, and of course we'll have our bonus ball contest a little bit later on at the end of the show. $30 on the line. But before we do that, we have 3 strings of bowling. Should be a terrific match between Dennis Shute and Peter Flynn, and we will start it right after we have these messages. Last week, in case you missed it, Dennis Shute with a 403 to knock off Frank Rose with a 379. So Dennis tries to make it 2 in a row today against our number 3 seed Peter Flynn. The semifinal match will be next week, and that'll feature Dan LaPlume, our number 2 seed. And 2 weeks from today, another first-time appearance on Stars and Strikes. Frank Rose made his first appearance last week, and next week, Brian Crowell will be here for the first time. But right now, for his second straight appearance here on Stars and Strikes, Dennis Shute after his win last week.
And he'll get us started on, of course, lane 32.
Dennis last week went through the first 5 boxes of the match before getting his first mark. And that first game ended up being a 120. Oh, there's a fine spare to start this match.
Not going to wait 5 boxes this week. Splits the 3 and the 6. Watch the 3-pin into the 7. Right there. Nice shot by Dennis Shute.
Actually, Dennis did most of the work in that one game last week. He threw 2 games below his average. He opened with a 120 and finished with a 117, but he had a 166 in the middle.
Look at that. He actually hit the head pin. Head pin is still rocking, but he hit it so lightly it didn't knock it down. Just 4 in the spare. 4 horsemen left, plus the 9 and the 10 pins. No wood to help.
And he still gave it a scare.
Showing us how to make some shots here. This is the 410. Goodbye. 24 through 2 boxes for Dennis Shute. Now our first look this week anyways of Peter Flynn.
The tall left-hander will be shooting at the triangle.
Was Abe Lincoln left-handed? He's got the Abe Lincoln look. Now with that little beard. Let's make it 9 for Peter. 1-3-6 left for Peter, looking for his first mark.
Nope.
Not quite.
Early 5-pin lead for Dennis Shute. And now he'll shoot at the 2, 7, and 10.
And don't count him out on this shot. The way he's been making cut shots the first 2 boxes. 2, 7, and 10. And now let's see, the wood is rolling in between the 2 and the 7. Idea is the same though. Try to cut the 2-pin into the 10. Watch out that wood doesn't deflect the ball between the...
Oh boy.
That close. Rocked the 10-pin a little bit, but didn't knock it down.
And the 10 box for Dennis. Take another look at that spare try.
That close to making that spare. Lane 31 now for Dennis. Well, he's going to try the 4 horseman right plus the 7.
Almost.
Make it 43 now for Dennis. Peter Flynn for the 3rd and 4th frames. Both bowlers on the quiet side right now. But hang on, it won't be long with these 2 guys. Wow, 5, 8, 10. No wood.
Peter Flynn, of course, was here back in the spring. He was on both Tournament of Champions series last spring in the doubles. His partner was Chuck Godzik. They entered the tournament as the number 5 seeded team. They zipped off 4 straight wins to get to the finals and then lost to Gary Carrington and Joe Ashline. In the singles Tournament of Champions, Peter came in as the number 3 seed and in order beat Neil Goslin with a 408, Rico Baldinelli with a 444, and Paul Berger with a 410 to win the championship. In fact, Peter right now has a 7-match winning streak going in singles competition here on Stars and Strikes. Peter takes the spare. The last man to beat Peter Flynn here in singles competition was Dave Richards. That was more than 2 years ago.
And he's still recovering from the broken legs. No, just kidding, folks. Just kidding.
Oh, my. How about this leave?
Hello. The head pin plus the back row. The 9, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Trying to get out of it now is Dennis, and he does with a 9 box. 52 half. Our presenting sponsor, of course, as always, for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, our friends at Tri-State Megabucks. Just imagine being rich. Tri-State Megabucks, give it a try. You never know.
Piece of wood in front of the 610 cost him that shot. Instead of the wood in front of the 5 sweeping to the right, the other piece of wood prevented it. And let's make it an 8.
So 60 through 6 for Dennis Shute. And Peter Flynn will step up now, working on his first mark.
And with a chance to take the lead, anything over 4.
And a nice pocket hit. There was never a question about that one.
That's over 4. For a minute, the 5-8 looked like it was going to stay, but boy, didn't take them long for those two to go down either. For the strike on spare.
Oh, look out. Bad luck on the wood.
The 5-7, he wants that wood to stick around, but it's not, well, it's going to, I guess.
Peter from Bradford, Mass. He and his wife Deborah have 2 sons, 11-year-old Sean and 8-year-old Craig. Peter works at Grandpa's Printing. Does a lot of his bowling at the Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, Mass.
The wood is almost directly behind the 5 and a little bit to the left. See if it helps him. He's got to have the 5. Oh,
wow.
It threw it in front of the 7. So I guess the answer to my question is it didn't help him, it hurt him. He might have been able to cut that 5-pin clean into the 7 without the wood behind it.
Peter does a lot of his bowling here on the Winds, too. This is his 28th appearance overall on the Winds, and he is 22-5 overall. Here's what happened.
There you see it.
The piece of wood in back deadened the 5-pin and flipped it over toward the wall, but in front of the 7. Oh, Dennis Shute back in the pocket, and look at that wood.
Poor 5-pin says they're coming at me from all directions, but nothing hit me.
Now it will, for the spare. Second mark for Dennis Shute.
A little full and head pin got a good break, though. 7-pin drop and just the 3-6-10 left for another spare.
Oh, yes. 2 in a row for Dennis. Peter misses the head pin. He's left with the 1, 3, and 8. Yes, for the spare. Nice shot.
Played it to the left of the head pin and kept the head pin in play for the 8-pin. His 3rd mark of this string. 2nd spare.
Through the middle. Talking about the doubles tournament of champions last spring when Peter was paired with Chuck Godzik, kind of almost a statistical impossibility happened during that run of 4 consecutive matches. In the first match, they beat Paul St. Pierre and Steve Reno. They threw a 400. The next 3 weeks, they threw 365. 3 weeks in a row, same score. Not impossible, of course, but statistically unlikely. Yes.
That was a big 9-pin drop for Dennis Shute on that spare in the 8th. Looking at just the 6-pin to make it 3 spares in a row and his 4th of the string.
Right there.
He's down as much as you can see there by 18 after 6 frames. He's now climbed back to within 5. He's got pretty good rhythm right now. That was a good-looking ball in the 1-2 pocket. 6 drop, but he leaves himself the 3-5-6 triangle, but he also has the 7-pin in the left-hand corner. Piece of wood between the 5 and 7, which may help. No. Last week he opened with 120. This week
122.
2 pins better.
With 4 marks, 3 of them right at the end. Not unlike his first game last week, really.
You can take a quick glance at the scoreboard.
Everything but the 4-pin.
It's the color of Peter's bowling balls or what, but when that ball hits the pocket, sometimes it looks like it's a foot in diameter.
And the spare on the single. Peter needed a mark in these final 2 in order to carry a lead after this first game. And let's see, it'll be 7.
And the 5, 9, 10 left. He's going to try to place this ball in between the wood and the 5-pin if he can. No.
So Peter will have the lead, but it will be in single digits. After game 1, Peter Flynn with a 128. Dennis Shute at 122. We'll have information on our bonus ball contest in game 2 in a minute. At the end of this week's program, we'll be drawing a card from our TV for the bonus ball contest. Be sure and send regular size postcards only, please. The small ones, you know, the regular size ones. With your name, your full address, and the number from 1 to 10. That, of course, the number of pins you think will drop on the bonus ball at the end of the show. Mail them on in to Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. Remember, if your number matches the number of pins that drop, you will win the jackpot, and also you and the bowler will each win a brand new set of bowling balls from Paramount Industries. So good luck, and we hope you get a chance to have your card drawn, but you can't win if you don't send those cards in, so drop one in the mail to us.
That's why I haven't won yet.
No, I keep telling you. Peter Flynn for the spare. No.
Peter trying to protect the 6-pin advantage going into game number 2 and week number 2.
Big first ball that time. No 7-pin, though. Wood out in front. Peter can get by it if he likes to play it that way.
I think he will. Or he'll be attempting to do that anyways.
Oh, yes.
Not only does he get by it, I mean, he just crunches that pin.
It's like the lane was 4 inches wide.
That's right. No cheapies here. He just nails the spares. Single pins, doesn't touch them. He drives them straight back.
Dennis Shute coming up a little bit short. Nice recovery, though.
Try to get the 6 and 10 for 10 bucks and move over to lane 31 and see if you can put up some marks. Make it 9.
A quick reminder that our next taping session here at Park Place Lanes for Stars and Strikes will be the day after tomorrow, December 14th. Tuesday, December 14th for Stars and Strikes here at Park Place Lanes in Windham. Most of you know by now we're here all day, so if you're in the neighborhood, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, not far from exit 3 off Route 93. Anytime between about 10 in the morning and 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon, drop by and say hello.
Oh.
Yeah, great shot.
Great shot is right. Splitting the 1-2. 2-pin in the head in the ball. Go down and take the 7 right there, and the head pin takes the 10.
That's 5 marks for Dennis Shute, all spares. Peter Flynn has 5. One of them was a strike. Working on a spare right now. And the fill will be just 3.
The 1, the 8, and the 9. That's all. Spread eagle plus the 5-pin.
Nice run. And a 9 box. Well, Peter has had a 3 fill and a 5 fill on spares. Dennis has had a 4 fill and a 6 fill so far, so I'm sure both bowlers will be trying to improve on those numbers.
Four horsemen right, plus the 10, plus the 7, I should say. Piece of wood behind the head pin. Let's see if that helps him. Yes! Took a little while, but it was gone. You would think the 10-pin would want to be one of the first ones to go out. 7-pin would be the last, but needed some help right there. Wood coming across.
Tell you what, that wood very nearly went by without hitting the 10-pin. Dennis Shute back in the pocket, and he touches them all.
That was on a spare, so spare on strike. And actually takes the lead in the match with that strike.
Looking for the double, and he got it!
He's got it as right.
We will take a break. Dennis Shute with a double strike to send us to our little break here, and we'll be back with more of Game 2. Good match going. Don't go away.
Here are the winning numbers from last night's Tri-State Megabucks drawing.
Peter Flynn is working on a spare. Eight drop.
Gives him 49 through 4. But the big news right now is a double strike already posted by Dennis Shute.
No.
Starting to play out like last week. Dennis Shute, he threw that big double strike against Frank Rose.
It was almost in exactly the same spot, just a box later, in fact. 3rd and 4th boxes of the middle game this week. Last week it was the 2nd and 3rd box. Well, Peter will have a spare leave this time on the 6-9. Well, let's wait on this wood, though. If it stays somewhere around there, he can get past it. Oh, boy. Too good.
6-9, and he drove the 6-pin straight back. 2 open frames for Dennis Shute to work on, and this is going to be a big ball for Dennis coming up here on the double strike.
He's already got the lead in the match, so he'll be adding to it with these fill balls here. The winner of this match to move into the semifinals next week against Dan LaPlume. Dennis Shute on a double strike just grazes the head pin for a 6 drop.
Three, 6, 10, and of course the 8 pin is also there. This for a spare.
And it'll be a 9. So an 82 half for Dennis Shute, and he leads the match, as you see, by 17.
Off target to the right that time. 4 horsemen left and a 9 pin left. Dennis going for them all. Just a 7 box, 89, 20 pin advantage in this game, 14 overall.
He actually lost ground in those 2 boxes. But the double strike does give him the advantage here. Nine drop for Peter Flynn, 5 pin.
Nice little guide to the left. Another piece of wood nestled against the 5 on the right.
Spare in the 7th.
And didn't need either one of them. It was all over the 5 pin.
Oh, yes. Strike on spare. As Peter Flynn rocks the house with that ball.
Watch this. Bang, 9, and then finally the 8 pin goes down for the strike on spare. Peter right back at you, though. Tough competitor.
Oh, big break there for Dennis Shute.
7 pin. So try to keep pace with Peter Flynn if he can post a couple marks himself to maintain that 14 pin advantage that he has. There's one of them.
Yes. You could hardly have a more obvious contrast in styles between 2 bowlers than between these 2. Dennis, very methodical, very deliberate and accurate. Of course, Peter is accurate too, very accurate, but the delivery with a much wider arm swing, big long strides, and a lot of power on the ball.
5 on the fill for Dennis, trying to make it 2 in a row. Oh, look at that 10 pin. Oh. Hit it, slid it, and didn't knock it down. I remember that one later on in the match.
And it's still there. Well, Peter Flynn will cut into the lead with the fill on this strike.
He could actually go ahead. Anything over 8 on the strike would give him the lead. I think he's thinking double strike too.
Let's see. Let's see. No on the 9 pin. It was all around it, though.
It's still rocking, as you can see. I see a lot of daylight on the base of that pin as it rocks too. Well, I have to play the wood out in front. I don't think he could get by it, so be very careful with this one. As I said, you had to have it a little higher and turn that wood ever so slightly. That will give him the advantage by 1 pin, though, through the 8th frame.
And the 10. Right now, each bowler with 8 marks, 6 spares, 2 strikes, and just 1 pin the difference. And Peter will have a spare leave here.
3-6. Ooh, missed badly to the left. That even brought a smile on Peter's face. I just threw his hands up and say, hey, I'm human. I can miss those.
But not 2 in a row. The $10 and his second 128 for a 2-game total 256.
We referred to his double scores at 365. Now he's at 128 on the singles show. Dennis Shute for his final 2 games, final 2 boxes, I should say. And will he get the strike?
Wow.
Another rocker. This time the 4-pin for Dennis Shute.
Well, any kind of a mark in the last 2 boxes will undoubtedly give Dennis the lead in the match going into the 3rd and final game. And there it is. 123 in the 9th, plus a ball.
Of course, anything over 1 now, give him the advantage, as Doug said. You know, Dennis is thinking a big fill and another mark to put the lead into double figures. Looks pretty good. A little light, but 7 drop. And let's see. A tough spare leave in the 3, 5, and 9. What makes it even tougher is the wood that's looking right at Dennis, right next to the 3-pin.
Let's see. Oh, yes.
Nice shot.
Nicely played. Mark number 10 for Dennis Shute, and this
140 plus.
Should move the lead into double figures, depending on the fill ball here. Five is the fill, and so it is a 145. 267 for Dennis Shute, and the lead is 11 after 2 games. Mentioned Peter Flynn has a 7-match winning streak in singles competition here on the Winds. We'll see if he can continue it after these words. All right, 3rd game. Here we go. Here's your leader, Dennis Shute by 11.
The 5 and then the 7, 8, and 9. Couple pieces of wood in front of the 7, but I believe he has to play the triangle with the 5, 8, and 9.
Ooh, misfired.
Not happy with himself there. Gave him no chance whatsoever to make that spare without hitting the 5-pin or the wood in front of the 7. That's what he was trying to do, is snap the wood. So that was a great 10, though. But he knows he needs marks.
10s may be important before this thing is over.
You're right.
11 pins the difference right now, with Dennis Shute to the good, and there are 10 pins in a hurry right there.
You know, Dennis is thinking, if I only clipped that wood, I had a shot at making that spare, and now I fill it with a strike.
Peter's right in the pocket, and let's see, oh boy, 5, 7, and 8 with no wood.
Trying to cut the 5-pin in the right-hand side.
Just like that! He did it! Peter Flynn with the spare. I think we'll probably have another look at that one, won't we?
Watch how quick it goes. Bang. Mercy. Take out the white flags here.
And the fill. Well, he's going to have to try another one.
Getting further apart this time, though. This time it's the 5, 9, and 7. Same idea, though. Got to cut the 5 in the right-hand side. Not this time. So the lead will drop into single figures. Single digits for a while, anyways. Dennis is working on the strike.
$8 for Peter. So 25, and remember, Dennis Shute coming up working on that strike that you see. Dennis had a 403 last week in his win. Dennis with a pretty good record here on the Winds as well, percentage-wise, 6 and 3.
That close to a double strike. Tell me this doesn't look like a little pencil down there. A big mark it would be on top of the strike.
Oh, yes, right there.
No doubt about it.
Marks now for Dennis Shute. And
oh, wow.
Strike on spare.
Well, I say good defense is a good offense, and Dennis is showing us that. This time, strike on the spare, 3 marks in a row. Has yet to leave a pin standing in this third game, trying to protect that lead coming in of 11.
Peter Flynn just maybe a little thinner than he would have liked in the pocket. He will have a spare leave, though, here.
2, 4, 5, 7. Piece of wood between the 4 and the 7. Put it down.
Yeah. As soon as it left his hand, you made the call.
But just to keep pace, he needs to throw a strike.
Almost.
Well, the good news, it's an 8-pin drop. The bad news, it's a 7 and 9 pins left for Peter. But he has a double piece of wood. You see the one in the back, one pointing at him and the other one across the lane. He'll hit it on the left-hand side and try to spin it toward the 7. Oh, he did, and left the 9.
Let's see what this wood does. Nope, not facing the right direction.
So the wood behind helped the pin snap towards the 7, but it also prevented it from knocking the 9-pin down.
And the 10. We will pause. Dennis Shute looking for his 2nd win in a row. He has the lead with 6 boxes to go. Stick around. Dennis Shute working on a strike right now, which incidentally was his 4th strike of the match. He had 4 last week. And he's had a double strike each week.
Oh, that was as good as any balls he's thrown all day long, and he leaves himself a 6, 9, 10 in the right-hand corner, but the 7-pin. But he has a piece of wood. He's going to shoot at the triangle. He's going to, just a little heavy. That pin fell into that wood.
How does that 9-pin stay up?
He's had a couple like that. Made about 360-degree turn right on the spot.
And he moved over enough so he was able to make that shot. Let's look at that again. Look at how far that walked over. And then spun around.
Yeah, see, now you see the label on the red stripe, so actually spun it right around. Right back in the pocket, though, and I thought he was going to have an identical lead.
Yeah.
He just had the opposite side, but a little easier. He's got the 8-10.
Dennis has had some trouble with leaving back row leaves. He's done that a couple of times in the 2 weeks, but...
Well, he's going to try to take both pieces of wood right where they meet and see if he can get some sidewall action with those two. No, catch enough of the front one. So it'll be 2 open frames for Peter Flynn to work on.
And since he is trailing by 26 pins, this could be a critical moment here. That'll be a 9 box for Dennis Shute. That ball slipping into the channel.
And his first pin that he's left standing, as you can see, this final game. He's done everything he can to protect this lead. Let's see what Peter can answer the call now. 2 open frames.
Well, undoubtedly, Peter knows that this is his chance right here.
3-6 on the right, 4-pin, no wood. He'll have to split the 3-6 or play it off the wall.
He doesn't want to stay more than 20 pins down going into the final 4 boxes, so he'd like to come up with at least 1 mark here in these 2. Missing on this chance, he'll take the 10 box and now go over to lane 31 for another try. There's the situation. He trails by 26. Oh, great pocket hit. Look at that. Oh, what a hit that was. Just had to wait for the 5-pin
5 and also the 9 for a while. There goes the 9, and the 9 falls forward, nudges a piece of wood next to the 5 for the strike. Big strike it was. Now Dennis Shute, so many times in the match, has answered the call. Let's see, one more time. Oh, wow, that's 3 consecutive boxes he's buried, and he's left something like this. This time the 4, 7, 8, and 9. Could try the wood, but I think he's going to have to go after the triangle. Off the wall. This is going to get very interesting.
Oh, it's a 9 box. Well, Dennis, last week we talked about this. First 5 boxes of the match did not have a mark. Last 4 boxes of the match did not have a mark. In the middle, he was terrific.
Here's a psychology box right here, just to give Peter something to think about. If he could put a mark up. If he doesn't, it's just like dumping gasoline on a fire with Peter Flynn. 1, 2, 9, 7, and 10.
And the wood appears to be headed off.
He's made this spare, I believe, either this week or last week. He's made the 1, 2, 9, and 10, 7 and 10. He's going to make it again. Oh, around the 10 pin.
Wow. Brought the wood out of the channel, too, and that didn't help either.
I'll tell you, the last 4 frames, Dennis has really been snake bit. He has really pushed the ball in the pocket and made some nice spare tries, but hasn't come up with one.
Here's another just miss. Right around the 10 pin.
Well, Peter working on a strike. And you can see, trails by 25.
Misses the head pin, coming back.
And he'll shoot at the 1, 2.5, and 10.
Oh, that's going to be tough about this shot.
It really is.
That 2 pin really moved off the spot. Peter's going to wait this out now with the wood.
I think he's probably thinking of going to the right-hand side of the head pin, clipping the wood in the head pin, rather than trying to split the 1 into 2 because of it's off the spot. He did.
No.
Snap the wood in front of the 10 pin.
Sounded like he snapped a pin in half, didn't it?
Well, he can gain another 1 and count. No, let up on that ball a little bit.
So the lead is now 16 for Dennis Shute. And again, similar situation to last time. Rather than trailing in double figures going into the final 2, if Peter can put a mark up here, he can...
Yeah, he trails by 16, which is 2 good marks. 3 boxes left.
Oh, my. Look at this leave. The 8 and the 10. Let's see where the wood goes.
You can see... you can't see, but Peter's kind of pleading with a piece of wood to come back. Look, see? I gotta check this in the rules. Well, I guess if you had your choice, I'd want to be a left-hander this shot.
That's right.
I don't think he has enough angle to carry the 10 pin. Let's see. No.
Boy, that might have been one of those cases where if it appeared as if he did do it. It didn't look like he threw that ball quite as hard as he normally does. He wanted to kind of keep it around a little bit longer so it would deflect over, but it didn't quite work. So it's a 10 box. He does gain 1 more, and the lead is 15 now with 2 boxes remaining.
And Dennis is thinking 1 mark anyways. Of course, 1 mark would put Peter in a double strike situation, assuming the fill would be enough. Oh, he's going to shoot at the triangle.
At least he got the back row out of there this time.
Yeah. 3, 5, and 6.
No.
He's opened 5 boxes in a row now. And really, that was the only one right there that really was his own fault by missing the object pin. It's been all over him until that box. 114 now through 9. There's not many bowlers in this game that you like to be ahead by 14 or 15 pins with 2 boxes remaining. Peter Flynn's one of them.
And Dennis a little short of the head pin that time. He does have something to shoot at, though. The 4 horsemen plus the 8 in the back. He's going to try and pull himself together here. This could be a very critical shot.
Absolutely. No, it's not going to be there. Well, one other time earlier in the match, he went for them all. I think this time he's going to be happy to grab 2. No, he's going for them all again.
Ooh, $8.
You might want to remember that.
122, 389 for Dennis Shute. So that means Peter Flynn needs a 133 for a tie, 134 for a win. So he needs 2 marks. He needs 32 pins for the tie. And watch out.
Ooh.
Probably lucky that the 2-pin didn't go over as well, but I don't know about this shot. There'll be wood everywhere.
Well, with the angle of the wood behind 2, it's going to jump, whether he can hit it to the left. And not
No,
quite.
it doesn't get there.
So now all of a sudden it becomes a double strike situation for Peter.
There's the 10, 111. Remember, he needs 133 to tie, so you can do the math. He needs double strike and 3 to win. So it'll all come down to this ball. Let's see. Pretty good. There's one. There's one. Wow.
Oh, my.
Somehow you knew he'd make it interesting, didn't you? He's got to have another one. Must have a strike on this ball.
A strike or it's over.
The crowd will tell you.
Looks good.
Oh, that close. Let's
hang
see.
on, hang on! It's gonna go! Oh my goodness! Oh my!
I do not believe that. Oh my goodness. Peter will have to reset. Remember, he's still got one more ball to throw. That looked for all the world like it was going to be a diamond leave right there. And then all of a sudden, things happened.
Remember, he needs 3 pins.
3 pins to win on this ball. And Peter Flynn has done it. 29 pins in the final box to win this match. A 140 and a 396 for Peter Flynn. An incredible finish. We'll be back with more in a minute. Welcome back here on Stars and Strikes. Dennis Shute, 4th place prize money, $175. Our congratulations. It was a terrific match, and nothing to do but watch there at the end, I guess.
You can't defend against the other guy. You got to get your own marks. I had to get a mark in the last 2, and I didn't.
And this match was scarily similar to last week, too, wasn't it?
Right. I thought Frank threw a double last week, and Peter did this week.
Yeah. Well, boy, it was a terrific match, though. Congratulations again on the big win last week, and we'll see you again soon, Dennis. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Now, Peter Flynn for our bonus ball. We have $30 in the jackpot, and yeah, Peter, if you're going to throw a strike, do it a little quicker this time, all right? So that we don't take up as much time. Well, let's see. It's going to be, let's see, wait a minute. It'll be a 7. Looking for a $30 match. Not a match for, I believe it's Lynn Rafferty. From San Francisco, California. I understand we're big on the cable out there. Thanks, Lynn. Obviously, Lynn has some relatives here in New England, so congratulations, Lynn, for having your card chosen. We'll be sending you a consolation gift. The guess, again, was 8. Just another ho-hum victory for you, sir. Now, tell me about that second strike ball, would you?
I want to talk about the first one. I don't want to talk about the second. Oh, the first one, I liked it all the way down. The second one, I gave up on myself. It was like, yeah, okay. You know, I tried to throw a double. I gave it all I had, and everything fell in the right place. And
is that about the most dramatic win that you can remember? I know you've had a lot of dramatic wins, but that was pretty special.
Yeah, that's going to be in the archives. I got tapes at home, and that's going to be there.
All right, next week's semifinals, Dan LaPlume. We'll see you then.
Yep, thank you very much. I'd like to say hi to everybody at Grandpa's.
All right, you did
Okay.
it. Thanks very much,
Thank
Pete. Congratulations. Terrific finish. Next week, the semifinal match. It'll be Peter Flynn against Dan LaPlume. Don't forget to join us on Saturday for the semifinal in doubles. For Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. See you next week. Thanks, everybody.